Hi everyone, this is Berenice, and this is my audio presentation for the Gospel story for Intro to Bible and Theology. So, what is the Gospel? The Gospel is the good news that Jesus came down to earth to become the perfect sacrifice on the cross, to die for our sins, to defeat the power of sin so that we could be forgiven and reconciled before God. And he resurrected on the third day. And now, if we believe in the Son of God and what he did for us, we have salvation and we have the hope of eternal life. So, how I would share the gospel, I think, in my opinion, that one of the simplest and best ways, or not the best way, but I guess just one of the simplest ways that we can share about Jesus with those around us is by keeping our testimonies. And what I mean by that is just you know, I guess being intentional of our character, our way of living, and just, letting God shine through our character, shine through the way we treat people, through the way we live, of course, living the godly way. And I think it's always um one of those things that makes people curious, because they see you living in such a way or acting in such a way that it makes them curious, like it makes them wonder, like, what is it about you, like why are you so different, why do you do things so differently, like why is it that you have all these problems and somehow there's this peaceful like appearance to you, or there's this joy to you, like even if your life's like literally falling apart, or not falling apart, but um you can be going through so much. And when people see that, it's like it makes them wonder, it a lot of the times, they say to themselves like, wow, like, I want to have that type of peace, or I want to have that type of joy, or what is it about them? And it brings up those conversations, like especially with people that that we work with or that we go to school with, maybe even family members who don't really go to church, or maybe they don't even believe in God, or they haven't really accepted Jesus in their lives, and it just makes them curious. And that curiosity always brings up the conversation, and it's a perfect opportunity, to, of course, share, what God has done in your life, like how he healed you, how he restored you. Um, and of course, the most important thing, sharing the fact that they too can also have that restoration and that healing when they place their faith in Jesus Christ and his sacrifice for us on the cross. And I think it's a very simple way of sharing the gospel. Um, and honestly, like I used to think that I needed to have a platform, like a literal, place, or some type of influence. Like we see so many online preachers and all these people who just have such a huge influence, which is great. It's great that they use that influence for something good, such as spreading the gospel. But I think that we don't have to wait until we have that, because our platform is wherever we go. We're like a walking podium, where we can preach about Jesus and share his message with everybody, everybody that needs to hear that hope, that there's a better life, that God has something better for us, that he intended better for us. Which is why I put this verse, Matthew 5:16, let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. It's just, being the light, letting God shine who he is and his love through us, and eventually that will lead more people to him, or he will use us, in that aspect, or he can use us in that aspect to lead more people to him. So yeah, this is how I would share the gospel, or at least how I always um ask God to help me to share his message or to share his word. Um and one of my prayers is um to for people to see God in my life, that they don't just see me, but that they can see his character and his love as well. But thank you. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.